In Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, we were introduced to the Draconids, a clan of dragon-type trainers who are kind of lore keepers in the Hoenn region and have a lot of connections to Mega Evolution and the legendary Pokemon that can Mega Evolve, Rayquaza. And it seems that maybe the Draconids might be coming back in a really big way. For this video, though, we will be looking into Pokemon Horizons, currently up to the point we are at in the Japanese version of the show. So if you're watching English dub, save this video for later as it will contain spoilers on Pokemon Horizons. Welcome back to the post where we talk about all things Pokemon, and today we're talking about the Draconids and how they might be making a return, at least in the anime, in Pokemon Horizons. So where is this all coming from? Well, currently in Japan, there is this arc going on called Mega Voltage. That's its Japanese name. And basically, this is an arc that is centering around Mega Evolution and has introduced to us a new main character named Ult. At least, again, that's his Japanese name. Now, interestingly enough, and I am by no means the first person to pick up on this, so many people point out when Ult was first revealed that he seemed to look kind of like a Draconid. He has a very similar color scheme to Zinnia. He has just this kind of wild child design, very similar to Zinnia, who of course was a Draconid we met back in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. And then also there's the fact that he uses a Sableye, which is a Hoenn Pokemon, again implying that he could maybe be from the Hoenn region where the Draconids live. But gradually, as we get more episodes of Mega Voltage, we learn more about Ult, and this theory seems to come together a little bit more. First off, we learned that Ult is chasing Rayquaza. There's this whole Rayquaza that's been a big part of Pokemon Horizons, and Roy's after it, and so is this Ult kid. He wants to catch this Rayquaza. This fascination with a Pokemon that is practically worshipped by the Draconids could also add some more credit to it, as you figure if he is a Draconid, he would grow up hearing stories about Rayquaza. It makes sense that any kid would then go like, wow, so Rayquaza is this cool, I want to catch it too, right? Like, that's just a natural progression for the character. But then we also see that Ult always has this dusk ball that he's kind of like fidgeting with or looking at or something. And, you know, you could assume that it's Sableye's Pokeball, but it actually isn't. We eventually get it revealed that there is a Pokemon inside this dust ball. Specifically, Ult tells us that there's a Pokemon in it that he doesn't even know what it is, but one day it's going to accept that he's a powerful trainer, and then it will become his Pokemon. It will come out of the Pokeball, and he will get to see what it is and have this new Pokemon. It's eventually revealed that this Pokemon in the Dusk Ball is a Dragonite. Not only that, but it seems that this Dragonite is capable of Mega Evolution. So you're already able to draw some connections there. You know, Zinnia and Ult kind of have a similar team in the sense that they both have this partner Pokemon, with Ult having a Sableye and Zinnia having a Whismur, but they also have this other Pokemon, this kind of ace in the hole, where it's a Pokemon that is a very strong Dragon type and is capable of Mega Evolution, like Ult having its Dragonite and Zinnia having her Salamence. This is interesting because it would kind of tell us some more about the, I guess, culture of the Draconids. You know, it's interesting that Ult was apparently gifted a Pokemon that's supposed to accept him one day. Perhaps this is some kind of tradition in the Draconid clan, you know, and Zinnia would have undergone the same thing with her Salamence. But it also, there's a lot more to it. There's some stuff that we could maybe learn about the games from this. It's no secret that the Pokemon anime and the Pokemon video games do tend to mirror each other, you know? We have multiple instances where the anime has adapted a version of the video game's plots. Of course, characters from the video games are usually popping up in the Pokemon anime, and then we've even seen some teases in the anime before we've gotten to the actual game that has that thing, right? Like, we've seen Pokemon debut in the anime before the game's release. Again, for example, we are about to see Mega Dragonite in the anime before Pokemon Legends EA is even out. So I do think that there is some precedent to be able to look at the anime and go, maybe this is hinting at something. And one thing that's interesting to me is that, while I've always thought this was interesting, it's just something to relook at. This plot of Pokemon Horizons has heavily featured Zygarde and heavily featured Rayquaza. Now, of course, Zygarde, we get it. That is a very clear and obvious Legend ZA tie-in, but Rayquaza, what's going on there? Because as far as we know, it has nothing to do with Legend ZA. Well, perhaps it could have something to do with a Legend ZA DLC. Rayquaza is a Pokemon that's very much connected to the Mega Evolution phenomenon. As far as we know, Rayquaza is the first Pokemon ever to Mega Evolve. So I could see a DLC centering itself around Rayquaza and bringing Rayquaza back into the fold, perhaps bringing the Draconids back into the fold, maybe even allowing us to go to Hoenn, or rather a part of Hoenn. This isn't that crazy when you think about the fact that Scarlet and Violet just had DLC that made us leave the Paldea region and go to the land of Kitakami and go to the Blueberry Academy, which was a area in the Unova region. So perhaps we could now be seeing Legend ZA do something similar with Hoenn. We do also have this whole TCG set that's been leaked from Japanese, and it's called like Emerald Storm or Delta Storm or something like that. Either way, the name is very clearly a reference to Rayquaza. This is a set that we'll be releasing down the line too, so it makes sense for that to be some kind of tie-in to something. You know, they're clearly building up Rayquaza, and granted, it could be nothing, right? Like we saw there was a set that came out in the Sword and Shield era. I believe it was called Lost Origin, but either way, it showed Lugia. It was a Lugia-centered Silver Tempest. That was it. It was a Lugia-centered TCG set, but there was nothing to do with Lugia in the anime or the game. So where'd that come from? It seemed to have come from nowhere. So maybe that isn't the case. But when you combine this bit from the TCG with the fact that, again, there's Ult, who really seems like he might be a Draconid, and also this is a story that is largely centered around a Rayquaza, it just really makes me wonder if we will be seeing something to do with that in Legend ZA or in a Legend ZA DLC. Ultimately, I think this is just something that, you know, it isn't the strongest theory, but there are enough pieces there to go like, hey, maybe there's something, you know? So I think it's something worth thinking about. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Also, let me know, would you like to see the Draconids kind of get some more focus? I feel like that's an obvious question because it's like, duh, of course I would. I think that's so cool to learn about a clan that is, you know, dedicated to arguably the best type in Pokemon. Just saying. So yeah, let me know what you think about this. Are you hyped about Ult having a Mega Dragonite? All of this stuff, let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss our future videos. If Ult is revealed to be a Draconid, you know we're going to be talking about on here and drawing all kinds of connections where we can. So you don't want to miss that. And until next time, I will see all of you later.